Okay, so this is going to be about lists and array indexing and some string methods, some simple string methods. So we're going to run this and see what we get in our console. As you can see, we have burgers, pizza, chicken, and ice cream. But what about if we want to just select one of these items? Well, we can do that too. So let's take a look at something called array indexing. And if I just switch the language, there we go. Now I can use this array indexing. So now I can use these square brackets, and then put a number inside, and it will be equal to one of these list items. Now, the important thing to know is that lists start from 0. So burgers is 0, pizza is 1, chicken is 2, ice cream is 3. We can also go backwards and do -1, which would be ice cream. Now, you can't do -0 because -0 mathematically doesn't really make sense. Negative nothing. It's not really something that makes sense, as I said. We can do other things with array indexing. We can even say, for example, 1 plus 1. I don't know why you'd want to do this, but you can do math inside of an array. And yet that'd be equal to chicken. So remember, 0, 1, 2, 3. It starts from 0. And yes, so that's something important to consider. Now, the next thing is going to be removing and adding and finding the length of the list. So how do we remove things from this list? Super easy. We can say favFood.remove, and we're going to remove burgers. We need to make sure that it matches the exact thing in favorite food. So now if I print favFood, it will print out without burgers. If I do it like this, however, and it's not the exact spelling that I used, you can see, look, X is not on the list, meaning the thing that I put inside remove is not on the list. So it actually gives us a little warning, which is great. Good. What about if I want to add something? Well, I can say favFood.append, which means to add to the end. And I'm going to add, let's add spicy pork. Why not? Run. Now you can see I have spicy pork. Wonderful. What else can we do? Well, if we want to, for example, count how many things are in our list, we can do that too. And I know it's very easy, 1, 2, 3, 4, but let's try and do it using code. And all we're going to do is use 3 different things. So we have the print function, then we have the len function, and then the actual variable called favorite food. So let's combine all of this. There we go. Oop. Len fav food. So you can see that the number of opening parentheses matches the number of closing parentheses. Good. You can see it prints 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Super easy, right? Now, the next thing we want to do is to be able to clean up things inside of our list, which is really easy. And actually, before that, let's actually do something else. So we can actually do interesting things on lists. We can modify lists. So we can say fav food, let's do 0, is now going to be equal to, what should we make this equal to? Burgers, like this, capital burgers. And now if we print out our list, favFood, you can see that it has burgers in capital letters. Really good. Perfect. So we can do a few things, right? We can modify the list, and we can add, and we can remove, and we can also find the length of this list too. So that should be everything you need to do for part 1 of our homework. Now the next thing is going to be using string methods. So let's say we have something like this. Let's say we have someone did this. We'll do burgers. Someone maybe typed in the incorrect thing in their fields and added burgers with lots of spaces, like so. So how do we clean this up? Well, we can use something called .strip. Now .strip, if I remember well, we'll take away anything that we specify. So let's do favFood, and we'll do favFood position 0 .strip, and the thing we're going to strip is going to be a space. So we just add a space like so, and this will strip all the space inside. So actually, let me make sure that I'm referencing the correct thing. So favFood equals favFood. There we go. So now we're saying that the list item at position 0 of favorite food is going to be equal to favorite food at list item 0 when we strip and take away the extra spaces. And we're going to print this, print favFood, and see what happens. Wonderful. You can see that now it gets rid of the spaces. If we actually get rid of this and run it, you can see that it prints with spaces. Good. So that's how we use strip. Now, what about if someone did this? Pizza, and they just shouted pizza. And we don't really mind that they added all these Z's and A's, but we do want to make everything lowercase. Well, that's also super easy. We can do fav food at position 1 is equal to fav food at position 1. And we're going to say lower like so. And I think it's like this. Let's have a look and see if that works. Okay, so now, yes, we can see that pizza is now lowercase. If I get rid of this, just to test it, pizza is in uppercase. Really good. Perfect. So what else can we do? Well, what about if we want to change everything to be uppercase or capitalized? We can do that too. Let's do favorite food. And let's see if we can do it like so. Upper, is it uppercase or capitalize? No, I don't think we can. Let's do 0 like so. And we'll do fav food dot upper capitalize. I've actually forgotten. Maybe it's title case. Is it title case? I'm not too sure. I'm going to double check now quickly. And this is a great idea, or this is a great example of how you cannot possibly remember everything in Python, and sometimes you have to search for things, right? So I'm searching online now, capitalize string method to see how to use it. Okay, there we go, capitalize like so. So actually, I think we can do this. Print. Let's see if that works. I think it should work. Is this right? Capital R. It's with a Z, the American spelling. There we go. Now that should work, but it's coming up as an error. So let's see why. I know why. It's because we need to put it right here. Capitalize like so. That should work if we get rid of that bracket. Let's see if this is correct. Cannot access capitalize for type list string. Okay, so we can't do it for the entire list at one time, but we can do it for each individual list item. So let's do it right here, capitalize like so. And hopefully this should work if I add the correct, there we go. There we go. So now you can see that, yeah, burgers is capitalized, and we can do the same thing for all of them, right? So we can just copy and paste this and then just change the numbers. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Do the same on this side, 3, 2, 1. And then everything in this should now be a capital. Okay. Perfect. Reset to mine. There we go. Okay, run. Yes, perfect. So you can see it's capitalized. Really good. Let's get rid of all of this, and we'll add some more things. So the reason why I left that in the video is because I want you to see that there's no way you're going to remember everything in Python. And sometimes you need to go online and search for the thing you're looking for. So in my case, I just typed in how to capitalize things in Python, and then I got the right answer. So you can do the same thing at home, right? If you're having trouble, you can look at a video. You can look at this video. You can search online. There's lots of things available to you, and I want you to use those skills that you've built up during your education to try and help you with this homework. So let's try and replace something else as well. So we can replace things too. So we can say fav food. Let's replace ice cream with, ice cream would be -1 actually. -1 with fav food dot -1. We're going to replace with, what should we replace with? Chocolate. There we go. And this should be on this line, fav food. I'm wondering why this is coming up as an error. Expected or one more positional argument. Okay. So what we need to do here actually is tell Python the thing we want to replace with. So we're basically saying replace ice cream with chocolate. That's why we're passing two different things to it. So now you can see that, yeah, ice cream's being taken care of, and we have chocolate right here on the right hand side. Great. So if you do have any errors, you can do what I did just then, and you can find out what the error is. If you just hover over it, it says, oh, expected one more positional argument, which means it wants one extra item in the brackets. And we did that before, choco. There we go. Now, what can we do? Okay, so we can do some other things right now. We can maybe separate data science. And how will we separate data science? Okay, so sorry, not data science, ice cream. So how will we separate ice cream? Because ice cream is a two-letter word or two-word, two-word word. It has two words, ice and then cream, and has a space in between. So we want to separate this so that we have ice and cream. How do we do this? We can do this like so. So we can say x, y is now equal to fave food at position -1. We did get rid of all of this actually too. And we're going to use the strip space. Let's run that. Okay, too many values to unpack. Is that so? Aha, it's because of this right here. So now let's try it again. Still too many values to unpack. Is that really so? I wonder why. Okay, let's print this and see what the issue is. If we do this. Run. Ice cream. Okay, so stripped ice. Okay, let's say if we can string split. It might be split. There we go. Split. We'll get rid of this. See what happens. Okay. Now it should do ice and cream. There we go. Wonderful. Okay, so to separate the two words, we use split. We can save that to x and y like so. And if we run that again, good. Now we can print x and y like this, and it will say ice cream. You can see. If we print just x, it will print just ice. And if we print y, it will do just cream. Now, since we've saved these things to x and y, we can actually add these to favorite food now. We can say favorite food dot append, and we can add x, y, like so. And now we can say, oh, is this because it only accepts one? Yes, it does. We need to make another one, which is fine. Y, like so. Okay, and now let's print favorite food. We should have two separate items of ice and cream. Very good, ice and cream. Easy. What else do we need to do? So we also need to print the updated list, which we have. Okay, so now the last thing we're going to do is use import. So we can say word to, actually I'm going to just copy and paste this from the homework just so it's easier. There we go. Perfect. What do you want to remove? Get rid of that. Now, why is there an error? Yes, here we go. So now what we want to do is we want to ask the user questions. I want to add spicy soup, and I want to remove burgers. So we have burgers is now saved to word to remove, and spicy soup is now saved in the word to add. So we can use something like this. We can say fave food dot append, and then which one do we want to append? Which one do we want to add? I'll leave that for you to decide. And then we say fave food dot remove. And which one do we want to remove? Well, it's pretty obvious which one we want to remove. And then you're going to print the updated list like so. Perfect. So remember that in part 1 for lists, you only need to show me in the worksheet or the homework sheet. But for part 2 and part 3, I want you to do it in this replit here, right? And yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult. If you watch this video, you'll get all the answers. I know this is a bit longer than our usual videos, but I did want to show you at some point, and it came up quite naturally, the fact that even I struggle as a teacher, and I'm not going to know all the answers. And neither are you, and that's perfectly fine. It's okay. The important thing is that you find the answer, which you can do quite easily. Great. So if something doesn't work, that's fine. Look online and ask why it doesn't work. And you can type it in English, type it in Korean. Why doesn't my code work? And then type in your code online, and then it should give you a little explanation too, right? Or just watch this video and that will help you just as much. So hopefully this was helpful, and I'll see you guys again in the next video. So goodbye.